The assessment.
We're all present, so let's call the meeting to order at
It
5:32.
is far walk.
5:32. We have guests today, so I guess you guys are all here for the shed.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll just move that to the beginning and then we'll go to the rest of our meeting. Okay. I got your emails. If you guys want to take turns, you get 3 minutes each, state your case, and you can go on from there.
Okay. Well, I watched the video online, and one thing that you said was everybody's thoughts count. So I think the people on the street, our thoughts should count.
Mhm.
You know, you got the letter. I'm
Could you
assuming-
tell me your name?
Laura Brown,
Okay.
I'm at 3430 Spring Oak. I'm assuming you got the letter from the attorney.
Mm-hmm.
So we all have those same concerns with potentially bringing people on our street unnecessarily, potentially vandalizing. Not to mention the look of it. It's gonna sit in between two homeowners.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how any of you guys would feel about having a shed next door to you. It also says that any storage units like that are supposed to be on the side or in the back of the property,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not possible.
No, it's because it's not residential. It's considered common area. Go ahead, I'm sorry to interrupt.
I'm gonna just emphasize on that, as far as the traffic on the street. For whatever reason, we have, and I've contacted the city about it several times, about having a sign
Could
put
you
out
tell
at
us
the
your
end of
name,
our
please?
street. I'm
Your
sorry?
name, please?
Linda Small, and I'm also at 3430, about putting no outlet or dead end at the beginning of our street, because we have so much traffic, because everyone comes down our street thinking it's Country Walk. So you take that traffic, in addition to whatever other traffic may or may not come because of the addition of the shed. We've got little kids who come, who play in the street there. Jimmy's got grandchildren. Our new neighbors across the street have grandchildren. For a cul-de-sac, we are the busiest cul-de-sac in our development, hands down. Because like I said, I've called the city and complained about it on a number of occasions, and I've been turned down because you can see the end of the road, so people should know better. Whatever, it's a fight I can't win. But we do have a lot of children and a lot of traffic there already. So adding to it is just, in our opinion, not beneficial. You can continue.
Not to mention the liability of it. So if you're not gonna insure it, then if something happens on the property that someone's injured, then they're gonna come after the homeowners association, which in turn you're gonna come after us and pay any bills that you might have.
Well, we have liability insurance on all common property.
That's not what was mentioned in the meeting, I don't think.
Actually, it was, we have no property insurance, meaning if something happens to the property itself, but there is liability insurance, so if something happens to someone on the property, it's covered.
It covers everybody on the playground, common areas, the front entranceways, anywhere there's common area. We have insurance for that.
But you guys really feel like a shed is needed to hold the few things that we have?
Well,
That some of them that we don't even use?
Not to be rude, but I could bring all that stuff
don't
to
need
your
to be
house,
rude.
but I have all that stuff
Well,
that I
that's-
don't have a place to store it. We also have past presidents that have things that we need to get and collect. The HOA is spending money on things and not knowing where things are. We can always raise our dues, and that doesn't go over very well either. So to keep buying or purchasing something that we had at one point that we now can't find because somebody past president had it or somebody had it who no longer lives in the community, or that's, so there's things that, we can't, we need a place, a common area to put everything that the homeowners just own. I mean, the homeowners own these things, and we don't have a place to store them.
How about a storage unit?
Because we don't have, and I'd have to raise your HOA dues to pay for a storage unit.
They're like $45 a month.
We struggle to keep within budget as it is right now.
It's really, putting $45 a month is gonna be a killer too. We don't have the extra cash to do that, so the best way to do it was to get a common area, that we have enough common area.
Okay, so then, based on that, why is the park not being back into the discussion? Since we had a platform where the old gazebo was and was torn down, the platform is available, where you're not talking about a large structure, why not use it there where other homeowners surrounding the lake will also have more of a better view? Because that's the other issue, putting it between the homeowners. Now, you're putting it in a place where no one's really going to see it unless you know that it's there, and then,
That's part of the purpose, is that only the people that live there are gonna know it's there, because there's kids that come from other developments that play on that playground. We
Yeah,
get
but
other
like she had
people in there.
previously said, people that drive down our street, and all of a sudden they're gonna go, oh, there's a shed sitting there.
Mhm.
So they come back at night. So you're talking about buying a shed that's $700, right? So let's say the first day that you put stuff in, somebody comes and vandalizes it or breaks into it and takes everything. You have to replace the shed or fix it. It's gonna be a constant thing. How are you guys gonna make sure it's safe?
Well, we thought maybe you guys could keep an eye on it. I mean, I think if it was in, wherever it is, people are gonna see it. It's not gonna be as well visible at your street as it is the others, the park, where you have kids in there.
One thing I gotta say, I'm Jim Gilo. I live at 3435 Spring Oak Lane.
Okay.
You made a comment at that meeting where you were talking about being on the lake and that, and your comment was, it wouldn't be pretty on the lake.
I don't believe I said that.
Yes, ma'am, you go
Okay.
looking back in the minutes. Look back at the video,
Okay.
right on the video.
I don't know if it would be pretty if you're sitting at the pond.
Well, why
if
should
you're
we
like
be
that.
stuck with something ugly?
Right.
Madam Chairman, the purpose of this is for these people to state their case, not to debate.
No.
May I call attention to the fact that,
Yep.
have you stated your case, or is it something you wish to state? This is not a debating society right now. Would you have something to say that we should be interested in? If you do, we'll continue to hear you, otherwise I make a motion that this.
And the other
session
thing
be
is,
over.
you just stated that you have kids from other developments. We have kids from the back development from us in South Etona come over on our street
Mhm.
and play. So, you got it every place.
I guess the question I have regarding this is, it gets a little convoluted to me because it seems a unanimous decision was made without sending out a notice to any of the homeowners in the development, let alone us. We had no idea, and that it's just, we're going to do this. And, if it's anything else that has anything to do with our community, generally, the community is advised. And we were not even advised of this until we saw it after the fact. So that in and of itself is a lot for us to be upset about, outside of the fact of dropping basically a square in the middle of what is a very well-kept, beautifully green lot that is used for play and nature, to just drop an ugly shed into the middle of it because. It just seems that the playground is more conducive because it is community-driven owned.
Mhm.
I'm not laying claim to the property that's on our street. It just doesn't, as the homeowners, it just doesn't make sense to us to drop something in the middle of a lot that's gonna stick out and look quite honestly silly. So,
Thank you.
And I know when it was brought up, I don't know what your name is, I'm sorry, but you brought up some concerns, and then it ended up, well, if any of the homeowners have pushback, they don't really have any right to stand on anyway. But you did bring up some valid concerns, which we are bringing up the same, but they all got pushed aside. So, if you have a concern, if you have a group of concerned people about that, why wouldn't you want to listen to us? Because you said everybody's thoughts matter. But instead, it seems like this decision has already been made and you're argumentative about it. So instead of listening about it and maybe trying to come up with a resolution, maybe ask homeowners, anybody willing to store a couple things? We divide it up. But it sounds like it's a few Christmas decorations, you mentioned a pump, some tents that we apparently don't use, that you mentioned maybe trying to sell. Do we really need this structure to just store a few things?
I mean, really, what can we send a notice out to the community and say, here's the situation, and see, I guess I should back that up and say, is this something that you're determined to do, number one? Is this already set in stone and we're sitting here wasting our time? Or is there an opportunity for us to address all of the homeowners in the association and explain the situation in its entirety and decide whether or not someone can all pitch in and help out and then take it to step number 2? So that's my question. Is this a set in stone? Are we here wasting our time? Or can we have a second step
Well,
to
we
the
don't want to
situation?
offend the homeowners, but we also understand that, we have property that we own that we feel that if we want to use properly or use to the best of the benefit of the homeowners together. And that's what we're discussing.
So you're still discussing it? It's not set in stone?
We did pass it last month.
So are you doing it or not doing it?
We are working on getting a permit.
Don't you already have a permit?
Pardon?
Don't you already have a permit?
We have applied for the permit, but we have not gotten a permit yet.
You were told that you did have the permit, but
Yeah.
you already got the permit.
We do not have the full permit, no. We're working on it, they needed more information.
So you're going on record that you don't have a permit at this point?
At this point, it's not fully permitted, no.
What does fully permitted mean?
We submitted the permit and they were minus, they had a few questions on some of the logistics of the shed, how it was gonna be anchored and stuff, so I'm getting back to them on that.
And you're also gonna have to follow the setbacks.
Yes,
So it's not gonna be against the fence back there.
no.
Because you gotta be 25 feet away from it. You
Mhm.
gotta be 15 feet away from both sides.
So that puts it smack out of the middle of the property.
That's right.
I mean, just out of curiosity, you live across the street and you're looking across the street at that. How do you feel about that? If it was your street and you're looking right at it, out your front door every day. And I'm gonna say I'm gonna be biased because I've lived in the community now for 25 years. And we work our butts off making sure that our property is maintained perfectly. We pay our dues on time. We actually pay ahead of time. So it's kind of like, I'm sorry, but our whole street is in perfect condition. Every house on our street is immaculate. Their yards are maintained, their homes are maintained, and now you want to drop this ugly shed in the middle of our street where it just doesn't seem right. And it doesn't seem right that the rest of the community has not had an opportunity to weigh in, give thoughts, stand up, ask questions, volunteer, whatever you want to say.
That's right.
But at least it concerns the community. It concerns us primarily on the street, but it's a community issue. You said it yourself. These are community objects. So everyone should be made aware of everything that's on the table to be figured out and discussed, and then a decision, and just get it straightened out that way. I don't think it's right that the decision could be made here and now with just the 6 of you.
Go ahead, Jim.
Madam Chairperson, I think the problem is there is responsibilities that belong to the general membership, and they vote on that. And there are responsibilities that belong to the board, which are elected by the general membership. This particular incident is the responsibility of the board of directors. Now, this doesn't mean people don't have the right to have input into it, but it's not something that would be submitted to the general membership for vote. Am I clear? I'm not trying to cut you
No,
off or anything, but you understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
And many
yes.
decisions that are very important to individuals don't really fall into the category of being the responsibility of the general membership, and you have to depend on the board, or if you disapprove of the board's actions, you can elect a new board at the next membership. That's the way organizations function. Now, this particular incident affects you personally, and we're very sympathetic to it. But it is a decision that the board makes, and will not be a decision that we submitted to the general membership for
It's against the
election.
rules and covenants of our homeowners association. It states clearly that structures, I happen to have my original ones, are not prohibited, are not allowed. They are prohibited. And so, because you are also the Architectural Review Board, there's a conflict of interest there because you're voting in your own actions. You don't have a watchdog in this fight. We need someone to be objective. Can I put a shed on my front lawn?
What are you laughing at? Why are you laughing at her?
No, what you're saying is that the board of directors has a dog in the fight. The board of directors doesn't have a dog in the fight. We're trying to do what's best for the general membership.
You don't need that shed.
Oh, sorry, ma'am?
You don't need that shed.
Well, that's your opinion.
No.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying that's your
I
opinion.
think in order to make it right, the padding, the strapping down, the lighting, the fencing, you'd be better off renting a place to have a meeting and having people put the stuff in their garage. Can I put a shed on my front lawn?
That's not the issue.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
we are gonna put one on our front lawn.
Absolutely,
Madam.
because I painted my house the same color, and the Architectural Review Board had to approve I had to submit the color, the contractor, and you're trying to put something on common ground that is not supposed to, there's not supposed to be anything on common ground. Around that perimeter is infrastructure. If you put something in the middle and a heavy piece of equipment has to go through that piece of property to access utilities, you're going to be in the way. And we are many single women living on that cul-de-sac. That's a lure. You bring people in there to see something that's unfettered. They'll want to break in. We're there home alone all day long, 6 women on that cul-de-sac. You're creating a lure. You did not let us know sunshine law. If something affects immediate homeowners, you're supposed to let them know that there's an agenda affecting homeowners. You did not send out notices to any of us on the cul-de-sac saying there was an issue about something being put on our common ground. All
On
of
that,
it,
between those two properties, there's a utility easement goes right down there. One of the houses, when they had it built, was gonna put an in-the-ground pool. Katie and David Carter's house. And they could not put an in-ground pool because of the utility easement that goes in between the two properties right there. So, you
Okay,
didn't know that, did you?
I'm listening to you.
I mean, so, you know.
But this is an example of why something can't just be decided haphazardly because you are all together and no one else is in attendance. There's facts that we're bringing to your attention tonight that you were not aware of. And I'm sorry, but these are all viable points that are being made, in my opinion. And like I said, as homeowners, we have a right to express our concerns and the things that we know that you may not know, and vice versa, things that you may know that we may not know. So it's a matter of putting all the details on the table to have this issue discussed properly and resolved properly.
this is not a board issue. This is a homeowner's issue. Would you like an unattended shed next to your home that could draw vandalism and theft? Think about it. If you're going to strap it down and you're going to put a fence and you're going to put a camera and you're going to go security lighting, which is what we're insisting on, it's too expensive. Then you have to approve the expenditure. If you need a place for meetings, if you need a place to store stuff, there's a much better solution than ruining a cul-de-sac with a temporary building that does not belong there. It's right there. He's reading it. No temporary structures allowed on any lot. You're in violation. If I were to do it and not go through the Architectural Review Board, you'd have a lien against my house. Think about the actions you take on other people. It goes for you guys too.
We are listening to you.
But you've already gotten a permit for this project.
No, we haven't gotten a permit.
I
yet.
told the city, and they
The
told me.
permit's been issued?
The permit has been issued.
Oh, I was unaware of that.
Well, I am aware of it. You
It
guys
has not
gotta
been
be to be
issued.
more aware
It
of
has
it.
not been issued, it's
Well,
been
I
applied
spoke
for.
to the Public Works Department, and I explained the lot number, the location. He said, oh, the permit has already been issued. Those were his words to me.
not gonna permit.
Well, you even applied for a permit then, all right, let's step it back a little bit. You applied for a permit, we could not have applied for a permit to do this on our properties. I've got a beautiful piece of land between, but they live next door to me and the Carters on the other side. There's a beautiful piece of land, it'd be great for a shed, so my lawnmower doesn't have to go through the back fence. You wouldn't allow me to put a shed there.
In your backyard, the Architectural Review Board would review it and approve it.
Your lot is not in anybody's backyard, that's
But-
right out in the open.
But in your backyard,
I'm not
if
talking
you
about-
applied that, then
I
it
don't
would
want
be.
a shed, and I don't need a shed, but you guys want to put a shed visible to the road.
It's on the common area.
There's nothing supposed to be on any of that common area. It's right there.
No,
He's
it's
reading
not.
it right now.
I've read it.
And you are in violation of the Architectural
No,
Review
we're not.
Board and the covenants. Yes, you are. You most certainly are. And it's a conflict of interest that you're doing something for yourself without a system of checks and balances and contacting the homeowners. And we're not going to sit still for it. We are not going to sit still for it.
And if it was on another cul-de-sac, would you all object?
Yes,
Only-
oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
And you would
Absolutely.
show up for another meeting?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I am an original homeowner. Jimmy's an original
That's
homeowner.
She's been on
I
the
think
board
Ariel has
multiple
something to
times.
say.
I've been on the board multiple.
We have served on the board. We know the rules.
We know what you're going through, but you know, this was brought up years ago. And, you know, we voted it down.
And we have more than
Because
just a few
I don't want to
Christmas
ruin your
decorations.
house, the looks of your house on your street. Why would you come on my street and ruin the looks of my house and my neighbor's house?
I don't think the shed would ruin the looks of your house
Well,
if
then
it
put
was
it
a
in front of
nice
your house.
shed and we kept it clean and locked and
Put it in her backyard.
it
You wanna
would
put
be
it
in my
your
backyard.
Would you like to put
It's
it,
right behind my fence.
well, you wanna put it in your
That
backyard?
doesn't affect you.
Yeah, you won't
It's not on
see
your
it.
property, it's cut behind a fence, you won't see it, so, yeah, you're not gonna care.
believe that either.
But if it's between, if it's next to your home or across the street from your home.
It wouldn't bother me
Okay.
because the board needs somewhere to put their stuff.
We're not debating.
We
whether the
all
board
put it
needs
in our
someplace to-
garages and we're
That's
falling
fine. We're not
over it all the
debating that
time.
issue. We're not debating the fact that the board wants a location, one location
And
to
we
keep
cannot
whatever it is.
afford to rent a storage
Well,
facility.
I'm sorry, but for the amount of money that we spend on photocopies and postage, we sure as hell should be able to afford a stupid storage shed someplace else. Because the way our budget goes is ridiculous. You up our dues, and yet we're still in the hole. Another issue entirely, so I'm not gonna go there. But let's not discuss the financial
Well, you're gonna
aspects
spend
of it.
$500 to $700 for a shed alone, if you get one with a floor, and then you cannot just put it on that ground, it has to be strapped down, it's flying debris. And then we want lighting and fencing and cameras. Add it all up, you certainly could find a better way to spend our money than put an eyesore on a beautiful cul-de-sac that's safe. We get a lot of scavengers coming through. First of all, they think they're on Country Walk Drive when they
Thank
come
you,
into
Carol.
us.
I mean,
And they
what's-
circle around and you know they're looking because I stare right at them and they're looking to see whose garbage is out there. If they see a shed unsecured, you know at dark, somebody's gonna be breaking into that shed. Do I wanna have to go pull a gun on somebody breaking into my neighbor's house or the shed? Hell no. But you're gonna bring that lure to our home
Yeah,
and I will not stand still for it.
we're 100% agreement
Yep.
with that, because, especially from that aspect alone. The garbage pickers, the metal junkers, you're talking about, yeah, a standalone shed, that is 100% a lure for them to come after dark, park their truck in the end of the cul-de-sac on, that does not have lighting on that lot, and then go ahead and just figure out how to bust that lock and rifle on
Oh,
through.
it's so easy to
And then
do.
all of a sudden, the shed that our dues paid for is not only demolished, but all of the contents are gone. So, and then we're sitting right back here again, having the same conversation again.
There's a liability if someone breaking into that shed gets hurt or cut, or one of the members using it gets hurt or cut. You have liability insurance. You now have to add that shed to it because it's another, they're gonna up your insurance. I'm a former licensed insurance agent. I worked for Kate and Hosey Insurance on Nova Road and Brown and Brown, just so you know my credentials. You don't understand the liability if someone gets hurt entering, vandalizing, utilizing you are going to have a lawsuit because even among friends and family, if someone gets hurt, they want restitution. You're
Can
not
I give
out
my
of the woods.
recommendation so we can wrap this up? My recommendation would be for the board to contact the attorney and just see what exactly is the liability here and if the board is okay to do this. And then we come back to this at the next meeting.
Have you gotten our letter from Brian Tone?
Yes.
Okay, you know we have representation. He is also a homeowner on the cul-de-sac. Are you aware of that?
Yep.
Okay.
When did we receive this letter?
I got it. That's
It was an email from.
Yeah. I got all that.
From the 28th.
I got it yesterday.
So that's my recommendation, if we want to put this up and I can contact the attorney for you guys and get his
And
recommendation.
contact an insurance attorney. A legal attorney
An
doesn't.
HOA attorney does all of that.
He
thank you.
has no insurance. There's a
They do.
difference.
HOA attorneys know all of that. That's why they specialize in HOA.
And you'll have to produce your insurance policy showing that you've added
Okay.
that on there.
So let the board make a decision and let's move on from this.
Yeah,
Can I
what
make-
about
can
the
I make a
sunshine
motion
law?
that we table this until
I
the next
object that
meeting?
you're trying to shut us
A
down.
meeting agenda, a meeting notice was posted 48 hours in advance, which is what the sunshine law is.
On the corner of the street?
It was posted
Yeah, somebody
stating
would
when the
have to
meeting
get out of
was.
their car and read down all the agenda.
That's-
We saw it on
Okay,
YouTube.
I'm not gonna argue with
We
you,
saw it
ma'am.
on YouTube.
Ma'am, I'm not gonna argue with you.
You should be
That,
arguing with
no,
us.
I should not, because it was posted. The law says that it has to be posted in a conspicuous area in the community.
The meeting notice was posted.
48 hours, and that was what it was. That was the meeting notice.
Well, that's a technicality because everyone would have had to get out of their car and read the agenda.
Okay.
Because you cannot read the agenda from your car. The meeting was posted, and if that's what you're talking about, you
That's the
posted
law.
meeting.
That's the sunshine law.
But it affects 9 homes individually and personally. The decent thing would have been done is to send us each an email.
Okay,
That
again,
would have been the neighborly
Let's get an
thing to
attorney's,
do.
let's get an attorney's opinion and then come back to this at the next
Need a
meeting.
motion on that?
Yep, let's make a motion on that and move forward.
Can I make a motion that
Ooh,
we
you're trying to
revisit
railroad
this
us.
at the next meeting?
No one's trying to railroad you, ma'am, but right now, we're going in circles and that's not productive
No,
for
we're
anyone.
not going in circles.
Yes, we are.
We are
So-
going forward.
Okay, so let's make a motion. Michelle, you made a motion?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So what will happen in the 30 days is everything will be reviewed. I guess they'll get a legal opinion. Nothing can be done, nothing will be done in the 30 days until this is re-reviewed at the next meeting. So we welcome you all to come back next month and we'll see what is found out then and share the information and hopefully we can come to
I want
a
to know why you
resolve
thought you
then.
could just do this without legal opinion or without letting the neighborhood know
Let's move on.
personally.
Secretary's report?
Okay, I gave you the corrections.
Oh, yeah, we're not done.
So it's apparent
You gotta withhold dues, boy, they'll be hurting. There's a way around it.
What did you say about the rule for replacing the board?
Next year. we've
Next
got-
year, you can vote.
Okay, that could be done too.
Okay, I gave corrected. I made a mistake on the minutes. So Tiffany was off, so I went in to Microsoft and made some corrections. I had financial report and president's report, and it should have been financial report and manager's report.
Okay. But the content's the same, you just changed the order.
Just the name.
I
Just the
changed
name
it
right
from
here.
president's report to manager's report,
Okay.
because that's actually what we had done.
Okay, and I apologize, I apparently must have missed over the board packet, so I didn't see this previous, so.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
And so we need to sign the new one, or did you?
No, I got
she's already
to
signed
give her one. Here's a sign, new one, signed. Okay.
And since I didn't see this, I,
You have another, Tiffany can do it.
please.
Okay.
Okay. Does somebody want to approve the minutes?
Yeah, we need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the December meeting.
Okay.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, Barb.
All of that crap.
So for November, the total assets and liabilities are $25,039.21. There was a year-to-date deficit of $2,595. Sorry. The grounds maintenance is under budget, $1,547. Utilities is under budget, $244.45, and management administrative is under budget, $1,357. So the reason that you guys are over budget is because of unpaid dues. I believe there is an update on one of those too. I believe the one on Gavison is up for, or was getting a sale. So that one does have a lien. So I
Is it
believe
the very
the,
first one?
yeah, the one we've been fighting for a while. I
2013.
believe we got an estoppel request for it.
So that house is being sold?
Yes. I believe that's what I saw. But that, yeah, that's all I have for the financials.
Okay.
The one that was on the list, I see their name has been removed. It was one with the higher balance that made them paying arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
That's going
It's
well.
been paid, yes. If it's, yeah, it's not on the list anymore, then it's done.
Oh, with the
paid.
payment?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good deal. And then the other ones on the list, they still had intent to liens on them, and the no
So the top one has a lien.
lien, yeah.
The second one, I believe.
Notice, it's,
Notice of late assessment. That's a NOLA letter.
okay.
So then the last ones that end in 033, that one was a large one, and now I see it's really
They've made
down low,
payments.
so that's caught up as well.
But it still has the NOLA. So what's the date, like the ones in July, February? They should have had the intent to lien, the lien already?
So
We've got
the
our
reason
45.
they haven't had an intent to lien is, I believe they are making payments, yeah.
Okay,
So they are making monthly payments. Yeah. They've made a payment every month just to catch up, and it's a payment more than what it normally would be.
so there's 7 of them there and they're all making payments?
Mm-hmm.
Or the ones in
So
October
the-
haven't made it yet?
The second one would be the only one that would be up for an intent to lien, but like I said, they are making payments.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I'm questioning the two, because the ones in October, they wouldn't, they're 45 days and stuff, they'd be just.
Yeah.
So are they making payments, or are they on their way to a lien?
So if they just received the NOLA, if those payments are not made, then they will move forward to
Okay.
intent to lien next.
Okay. And managers report?
Okay, for December, the board packet was created, draft minutes were completed, invoices were processed and approved. Financial summary was completed, the delinquent accounts were reviewed and notes made. I began preparing for the end of the year closeout, which, I will be sending some stuff over to you soon to approve, so we can close out the year.
Okay. And no architectural
No, we have no ARCs this month.
Was it this month that, meeting with the, finding committee was gonna be set up, or we don't have any?
I reached out to them and I was waiting to hear back from her as to when they would be holding a meeting. So as soon as I find out, yes, I do have some ready for it, so.
Okay.
So we did basically the NOLAs. Anybody have any questions on the violation report?
I just briefly looked over it, I don't see anything that's any different.
How many of these are ready to go to finding?
I believe I notated them. So it would be the 020057, which is the third one on the first page. And then 010033, I didn't notate them. And I think that's it for the.
Just the two?
Yeah. And depending on when the meeting is, I may have a few more if I do the next property visit before they do the meeting.
So that's a violation of arrears, and everybody's happy with that? We did ask the finding committee hopefully soon. We did our shed. Anybody have new business?
I think that maybe we should discuss this shed. I know we said we were gonna put it on hold for the next 30 days.
Who was this lady? The lady on the end?
I don't know who this one was.
Wasn't that Caddy?
I'm not
From
sure.
what I gathered, it was Carolyn Denny.
Now, I know that, as one of the residents said, that I should bring up the issues, some concerns that I thought we might have. Since we do have them, we should probably, I know we're gonna get a legal opinion, but we should, possibly think of some other solutions. I know we can't afford storage. Maybe another solution is maybe asking some of the residents if they would like to hold on to some of our property, or
What are we holding on to
But then
actually,
we, then
Linda?
we're in the same situation where we got other people holding it, we don't know where it is.
Yeah.
or
The signs,
Or
the
we
Christmas
consider getting rid
decorations.
of-
So get rid of
property.
them. We don't put up Christmas decorations. What's the big deal?
the only
That's the
thing
way they
that
wanna,
would
if that's what
be
the membership
left
doesn't,
would
you
be
know,
then
so
the
upset about.
secretary
It's only
signs,
down.
which is actually
What?
goes to that particular person.
So we don't put up the
But
Christmas.
I think if it was in another
We get
cul-de-sac,
rid
they
of
wouldn't have come to the
All the
meeting.
property
Yeah.
we would need to.
Of course
store.
not. Of course not.
That wouldn't be the only other solution.
But my point is, if that's the big issue, if we're holding on
I
to
mean,
Christmas,
just so
if
we
you
can
want.
look at it from all angles and see what our options would be.
Do you guys have any comments?
The point was made again about there's already a foundation somewhere on one of the common areas where the gazebo was. Why can't that be explored again then, if,
We could, but I have a feeling that we may end up with the same type of situation that we're having now, just with a different area. So that's why I said I think we should discuss it as a board, really take into consideration what all our options would be, whether it's to get rid of the items, find a different location, which, as those residents said, there was concerns about it sitting in the other area as well. So we will have to come up with a particular, a solution that's,
that was my
Best
first
for
concern with the type of structure that was going on as a security issue. I had mentioned that having the windows wasn't a smart thing.
well,
I'm not quite sure of this location, my ignorance for not looking at it more. But I honestly feel that if it really is detrimental to that particular neighborhood, if they have people circling around, as they say, if it's close to, is it far from the Reed Canal entrance?
No,
Park?
it's not a bunch of traffic there. It's just a little cul-de-sac. Actually, they do a lot of auto repair in that neighborhood. Guy has vehicles jacked up on stuff all the time over there.
well,
I still believe it's a concern even
Well-
if it's one person that's concerned with extra traffic, and if no one's monitoring it, if neighbors aren't gonna keep an eye out for it, if we're doing something, they can have pushback. If they're doing something, we have pushback. My concern is, I don't want anyone getting hurt. I don't want it to be an eyesore. I saw prices for different sheds that were almost 4 times what we're getting. So I'm concerned with the
I don't-
construction of it also.
I don't think that that's the issue at this point. They're just not happy with the appearance and with the surroundings and everything that it's gonna bring. So, I never imagined it would spark a legal issue.
I don't
I-
think this is really a legal
I
thing
wish-
from what they said. but-
We would have been prepared and known this issue was gonna come up this evening, you know.
Right.
Did you read the covenants? Did anybody read the covenants?
Yeah.
I think we can do it.
I had to present them to the city.
I
And
read them.
they said it's okay to put it there, it's common.
Right.
It's not the same as a
Resident.
resident, it's a
Right.
common area.
Mhm.
But if it's,
If we were to stop the permitting process now, have we already paid for the permit?
no.
So can we put that on hold for the time being, like we promised them we would?
Mhm.
I don't see anything wrong with it
Neither do I,
myself.
but I got a feeling this is low-income housing. No matter where you try and put it, in middle-income areas, if you try and put low-income housing, you're gonna have a fight on your hands.
Like
because-
Ariel
Can
said,
we
we
do-
could put a hedge around
So no
it.
matter what, so the point is, first of all, is it legal? We think it is, but let's get a legal opinion, I agree on that. And if it's illegal, then it's a moot point. But if it is legal, then the other issue is, do we want to have a shed? Whether that, if we have items that we can dispose of without putting them in a shed, then fine. But if we don't, we need a shed, then we just have to bite the bullet and go with it. That's my opinion, but,
I know I'm asking a resident and we're discussing it as a board, but you actually read the document that the lady brought in. Could you explain what you read to us, please?
So the documents that she had, and I didn't want, I didn't want her to put her out there in the middle of her explanation. The documents that she has are old residential planning criterias that were not signed, and they're actually not properly documented. It's weird. We went ahead, they were updated. The residential planning criteria that she had are old residential planning criterias.
From
The new one was
1987.
updated in 2019. The ones that she had is a photocopy of a document that has a stamp from county records, but there's no book or page number on the stamp. And every county document that's registered with the county has a book and a page number so that you can look it up with the county records. Those documents that she has also aren't signed. So that, because of all of that, that's why the residential planning criteria was redone. And it was redone in 2019. So the gist of it is the documents she has are outdated. And that's what I pretty much told her. And this is just, I'm just putting out information out there. You guys can decide whatever you want. With regards to the setback requirements that was mentioned, I'm not quite sure that those setback requirements, that those are the correct ones. From what I could find, and again, this, Port Orange code enforcement or with permitting, they would go ahead and have the final say, but from what I could find, for a storage building, this would be for non-residential use, am I correct? So for non-residential use, it says 10 feet from the property line. So that's the setback that I can find here. And then it was also mentioned that the permit was approved, and I just looked up the permit, and the permit was submitted on December 12th, and it still shows that it has not been approved, so it's still in process.
And the 10 feet, there was 10 feet, and I got it written down someplace from the city on one of these papers. I'd have to go through them about the setbacks, which they were wrong, but it's, let me pass it to Jim.
You can ask this, please. I mean, I definitely, not saying that we're wrong, but I don't want this to turn into a big expense for
No.
Is
any
that
of
copy,
us,
or is this a-
not us as
this around,
residents,
or-
not us as a
Just
board.
read it to you.
I
Go for it,
understand their concerns,
Mhm.
because as I said, I did bring up some concerns when we discussed it to begin with. So I'm not sure, as a board, where we should go from here, other than, like I said, in the next 30 days, exploring everything, all our options, and decide what we're gonna do next meeting, and how we can kind of come to that determination. I don't know, because we can't discuss what all the options are, you know, in the meantime. We kind of need to maybe discuss them a little now. And
Can we get an inventory of what actually would be placed in the shed at this point in time? Not the future, what we have right now that really makes it a concern to have it in the first place.
We have Christmas decorations, we have the secretary sign stuff, we have 2 pop-up tents, we have a sprinkler system thing that was made for the common area that needed to be watered, and a pump. We have had other things that have gone awry that we don't know where they are. So.
We also used to have, one of those saws, what kind of saw was that?
Chainsaw.
A chainsaw, we used to have one of them, I
that was
guess it
sold.
broke.
No, that was sold.
Oh,
We didn't have a use for it anymore, and that was sold by a passport, and, I mean, we were all in agreement of it, so.
But if we have another hurricane, we need to do some maintenance, and we get volunteers to do it, we would need a thaw.
yeah, we used to use it a lot for.
So I don't know, we can check out the park again, see what we want to do, something over there.
But
I think having a permanent, my opinion is having a permanent place to store whatever we have for the association should be. There's always, no matter whatever board, I don't know, Jim, you've been on many boards, most of them have a permanent spot to put some records, to put some things that they have, to put community property. And putting it in somebody's care, a resident's care, is very, I don't want to say,
It's not a good idea.
It's not a
No,
good
it's not a
idea.
good idea.
no, it's not a good idea, but
And putting any records, if there's anything we want to keep, any
Yeah, we
paperwork.
need a
and
file
something.
cabinet to put stuff in.
well, our
something.
management company has actually done that, our storage.
Yeah, but we kept secretary's records and stuff like that, you know, and we carry them from secretary to secretary, you know.
I agree, but I don't know how I would, if I would want that in something like that, not
Why, if it's
secured,
locked?
because it's our,
File cabinet.
I don't know, but that's why I'm saying we need to possibly think about getting rid of these items as well, because
Yeah.
I really feel that we're going to end up with the same problem in a different location, is my opinion. So,
I agree, and I also think the issue, though, that I'm concerned about now, that was brought up, is security. If we're storing records in there, you know, somebody breaks in, you know, gets hold of our records, so I'm just wondering how secure the shed would be, you know, on its own in an area where the neighbors couldn't care less. What happens to it?
well, the only thing I'm disappointed at is that if we have a true concern about our community as a whole, where there's, I don't remember the exact name of, that she was referring to these people that are looking through the garbage or looking around or whatever, that it's not been brought to our attention that we might have unwanted
I just think we have
Traffic.
it. You always have that. Every garbage day you see the
Yeah, you
junk
have the
guys go through
scavengers,
there.
they drive around looking for things to pick up
And I feel that if
repair.
someone's gonna break in, whether that shuts there or not, they're going to do it, unfortunately, whether it's to a resident or to us.
True, that's true.
Yep. So where do we stand? What do you want to do?
Well, if we also get, I mean, are we in a situation where we, are gonna be able to spend money getting a bunch of legal advice from our attorney as well? Those fees add up very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I would agree maybe a ruling, a general ruling to find out what our rights are, but then if it's going to go on and on and on,
Yeah.
that's
Well, I
not
think
the
we need
best
to know.
interest
I mean, it's
either.
common property. We are entrusted to do what's best for the community, and that common property is what we are entrusted to do. And so we need to know where we stand, so definitely.
Yes, we just need,
Identify.
we need to know legally, because
Yeah.
they're just angry because it's in their cul-de-sac.
Mhm.
I've already sent it over to the attorney, so we should hear something in the next few days.
Okay. All right. And then in the meantime, we can explore the park again.
What if you wanted to put picnic tables in that common area? Are they gonna rise up about that too?
Could be. I mean, it's common area, it can be used for anything.
According to the covenants it can.
Mhm.
Well, we were challenged on the legality, so we definitely have to get a legal opinion.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there, that's all.
Well, that was discussed at the last meeting, as Tiffany said, that it did cover injuries or anything, that would be, but we discussed not actually maybe insuring the building itself if it were damaged because,
For property.
well,
Right.
because it's not of a great cost.
Correct.
And our deductible would probably be more than the building was actually worth. So that was mentioned,
But we did
in
have
the last
liability
discussion.
for, on it.
Injury.
We have that on any of our property.
Right.
All right, so then you'll contact the city and just have them place that on hold? And we'll just do our homework until the next meeting.
Okay. Anybody have any other ideas what they would like to do besides sell the, you said you wanted to sell it, what do you want to do with this stuff?
I say we get a legal, I say that we should get the shed.
Okay.
I think we should sell it,
Okay.
quite personally. I personally wouldn't want it in my next door. I feel for them. I understand it was a really good idea initially. I don't live in that cul-de-sac. I don't know how they utilize that common area, if the kids are over there playing, if it is going to, it just could be something that is really, if all we have is what you say we have to put in there, I don't want any legal documents going in that. I mean, we hear horror stories every day about people losing all their identities. How easy is it to, if, I'm just using this as an example, all our information is on these for someone to grab. So I don't like the idea of any of the board documentation going into that. And as Tiffany said, it's all there anyway with the management company. So right there, we're covered. So if it is just a few Christmas decorations, if it is just a couple of other things, if we haven't been using the tent, when was the last time we used the tents? I mean, I think all that needed to be, I think we just got caught up in it, and it sounded like a good idea. They were on sale also, so the prices were right. It
Well-
didn't seem like it was going to be,
So then the next time
Overreach.
we need a tent, we'll have to purchase one again.
when was the last time we used it? I mean, we have to
We
look at
used
all
it for a
that.
community, our annual meeting.
We've used them once.
Right, I know, I mean,
Well,
I don't
because
even
of
remember
the-
if the
well,
tent was up
this is the
at the
thing.
one I went to.
Well, we had a hurricane, so that year the meetings were moved. And then this past year,
Right.
they moved it and we spent $50 to have a
Have it
room.
at the- Yeah,
And didn't even have,
right.
We didn't
So-
have any attendance, really.
I think we get more attendance if we do have them in our park. But,
Well, that's the
Well-
thing. I mean, are we paying for this room?
No, but they're getting subject to change soon.
Right, right.
The only thing that bothers me is that everyone is upset now, and we had only to try to make an improvement, to do something with good intention, not
Agreed.
to upset anyone, and it has turned into this.
Agreed. I agree. But I think that's it too. It does become an emotional.
mhm. And Jim, what do you think?
Let me tell you, there's no children that plays in that lot. I live there. There's no children. The only thing that ever happens in that lot is the grass cutters cut that lot.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, I got contradiction. One of them said, well, it's maintained by the lawn care people, but then I got another one says it's not, so I don't
Well,
know.
the grass cutters are there a few times a week, I think. And then the guy across the street from it has the cars up on the jacks several times a week. If you drive down that cul-de-sac,
Yeah.
several times a week, there's cars up on jacks. So it's not a beautiful cul-de-sac like they say.
Yeah, and also a lot of the statements were unchallenged, such as heavy traffic, and what is heavy traffic?
there's
And
not
who's
heavy
monitoring it? I mean, got to take with a grain of salt when people have an agenda, and they have a right to have an agenda. Look, it's where they live. I think your suggestion that we can get rid of the stuff, if we can, is it anything we really need? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if we don't have a tent and we can't hold a meeting, we just don't hold a meeting. I mean, that's the way I look at it. If we have stuff that we can get rid of, that solves the problem, and then that's it. But if we don't, then we have to, stick with something, either a storage area or rent a storage area, which I don't think is a good idea, but that would be another alternative. What do you think, Michelle?
Well, I've already stated my case.
I didn't hear it. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
I was the one that said take into consideration getting rid of the items
Oh, okay.
and, that we put everything on hold until we can explore it. So, and the pump we used once for, what was it, about a 30-day period? It was while we were repairing the swale.
Mhm.
And if we gotta repair the swale, we may need it again.
It's a possibility.
Tiffany, what do other associations do? What do they have?
I have some that do rent storage units, and then others have clubhouses and areas where they can store stuff.
But the thing is they don't understand how closely of a budget that we
No.
work on. And for us to, even if it's $45 a month at the end of the year, that's still money that we've spent that was unnecessary. We need to be prepared for bigger things.
Yeah.
However, Michelle, if we sell these things, as you've mentioned a few times, then if it becomes necessary to purchase these items again, like the pump, stuff like that, you're the very one that's going to fight tooth and nail not to spend the money to purchase something.
Well, if the items they feel that we have are unnecessary and we don't need them, then I don't think we should purchase them again.
If we need them again,
The only thing that's absolutely necessary possibly is that pump. I mean, the tents, we survived that for years. It was used 1 year for
Well,
an annual.
could these items, if necessary, be rented?
yes,
If
they can
needed,
be
if
That
needed.
was
Can
my
be
question
That was
next
your question
also.
on the same
yes.
line, but,
You
yeah.
can rent canopies and
That
tents.
might be a solution if we do need them again. I'm just, I don't know.
The only reason why I put it all out there is because we need to have every avenue explored, opened, so when it comes to making a decision, we've looked at everything.
I agree,
We
I
made a
still
re-
think we should get I still think we should get a legal opinion though, because this is not gonna be the first time we're gonna be
Well,
challenged.
we
Yeah,
are.
we're gonna be
But we just need
challenged
to know
on
what we
things, yeah.
Have a plan for next month. So,
And as you said, legal fees will add up. I agree that was my next thing to what you just said. And then it was gonna be the legal fees do begin to add up, and when you start weighing that against the stuff that we have, are we hitting a moot point here at some point that,
The only thing that bothers me is the only time we have attendance is when someone is bothered by something. Other than that, we don't get attendance.
That's right.
Right.
No,
That-
you're right.
And it was posted, if you have to get out of your car, you have to get out of your car, that's the way it is. And we posted, it was posted on the agenda.
I think the only thing that would have made me feel a little better about just the small attendance is if they said they were representing the whole, if they had everybody's
Yeah,
okay to represent the
well, that
whole.
one letter I got did say they were, that it's the consensus of the street. Jim, could you pass that to Wendy?
But both ladies lived at the same address.
Yeah.
Are they both homeowners?
I don't know. Jim, could you pass that to Wendy, that?
Do you know,
Could you
Ariel,
pass
may
that
I
paper
ask
to
you?
Wendy, the legal?
Both of
This
those
one here?
ladies
Yeah.
lived at 3430.
Pass it to her
Are
so
they
everyone
both
can see it.
homeowners?
I'll forward it to
Oh,
you
I
guys.
thought she said, no, I'm
Or do
sorry.
you know?
They both reside at that address.
But you don't know if they both are homeowners? Doesn't matter.
Tiffany would probably.
I
be able
believe
to
they
tell you.
are.
I'm gonna forward all these emails to all you guys, because I got quite a few. So.
You got quite a few
That's
emails?
the only thing
You
that
got it? Okay.
aggravated me, really.
I'm gonna
is
wait
that
and read
we
it,
can't get anybody
because
to
I'm-
come to a
I
meeting.
can't listen and
Ever.
read.
We can get them to vote, get them
Can't get them to
meeting.
come to a meeting, can't get them to send in a proxy.
Well,
But when they're upset about something, boy, are they upset.
well, politically, I'm talking about politically individually, but I'm talking about politically, it's probably good if we don't have to get involved in putting sheds up, if we can avoid putting, if we can do it.
Yes, that's true.
I agree, nobody, I don't think anybody wants to see the sheds, I mean, no matter where you
Well,
put them.
We have, but many properties in our community have sheds.
Yes.
I have a
Yeah.
shed.
Right, but
But mine
they're
looks
private.
nice.
This would be,
This would be in the open, yeah.
right.
Yeah, I understand.
You had something?
No, I was just gonna say, according to the property appraiser's office, the property is under
Both names?
joint tenancy.
Oh, good.
I've seen the ladies here before. I don't recall their names.
You know, something that I meant to tell all of you guys, and I was gonna mention it to them, but they're kind of hot-headed. It had nothing to do with the situation. I think I mentioned it to you. I get calls from the sheriff's department about single women alerts. They call me and give me alerts when there's a predator in the area. You know, because I'm a single woman.
Yeah.
And the sheriff's, Chitwood's office gives me, I get calls that says, we want to give you an alert of a sexual predator in the area, in your area, less than a mile from you, that has moved into your area. And they give me the predator's name, address, and everything. So I was going to mention it to them because I don't know if they get the phone calls. It's good to have.
I think you texted me that one day.
Yeah,
Do you know
yeah, I
about
gave
how
you the
long
guy's
the
name
turnaround
as the
time will be that we
address,
hear
but it
back
was
from
his
the
last
attorney?
I
name.
have no idea. As soon as I hear back from them, I will let you guys know.
I think that's
So-
kind of neat.
All right, then the consensus is we're gonna wait and hear what we have to
They
do.
said
with
4
the-
single women. I don't know if they're on the list.
All right, I just sent you guys
I
all
don't
the
know how I got
emails
on
that
the
I've
list.
received, which is
But I
one,
get the-
two,
I
three,
get
four
all
of
the
them.
time.
So I sent
I
them
know
all to
there's a
you guys.
website. You
You
can
break
look
So
at.
these were received on the 28th.
But I
see.
got
I didn't get
one
home until.
just a couple weeks
I
ago
was out of
because I
town
told
until
Linda.
Saturday.
The guy moved in about
Yeah.
a month ago.
This one
down
was on the
to-
28th.
It's
This one was on
exactly
the
1
28th.
mile.
This one was on the
And
1st, so just
they sent me his
yesterday.
name.
And this one was on the
His
1st,
last
just
name was
yesterday, so-
Mobley, and
So
it's one
then this would
exactly
be an
1 mile.
actual item on the agenda
gave me the
for this
address and all.
discussion.
Yes.
I said, well, good to know.
The legal part of it or the?
Well, all of it, because
But since they were so hot-headed, I thought I wouldn't have let them know that. I just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. All right, so we're in agreement, we're gonna wait and hear what the lawyer says. We'll see what, our next step is, what we're gonna do.
Can I
Yeah.
make a suggestion? Even if we hear back from the attorney and he says it's okay, we're not gonna move forward until we actually have the next meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay,
I think so, and let them hear what the attorney said, and then
Well,
let them
that's
know
what I
we're
think
getting
is best, is
proceed.
that we can even print it out and have it for them to see and things like that, just so they don't think we're trying to do anything that we shouldn't be doing.
Underhanded, right.
yeah,
And you're canceling the permit at this point too?
I'm not
Putting it on
canceling.
hold.
Putting it on hold. Putting it on hold.
So we're not out anything we haven't paid for yet.
Exactly, right.
So that way, if we need to stop, we don't have a loss. Do you know how much the permit was?
I think it was $50 or $60 or something like that. But I haven't done anything with it yet.
Well, can we move on now?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Homeowner, we did that, we're good. So new business, we're good. Make a motion,
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
6:37.